Okay, so very good afternoon, class. In the last class, we have discussed about certain principles. What are principles? What is management theories? Importance and need for management theories. Now, I will again have a just small recap about the what we have discussed in the last class. ठीक है, ये हम करते हैं. Okay, so need for management theory. The first need it or importance it shows is that it is regarding, it is in order to increase the efficiency of the managers, because it provides certain guidelines with the help of which one can easily guide the others, and definitely if guidelines or direction is clear, we have or everyone is in a better position to do anything. So that's why I'm saying that it provides guidelines to managers, and that leads to your, what it leads to? It leads to increase in their efficiency, right? So next one is, it crystallizes the nature of management with the help of considerable body of knowledge of management. One can easily understand what management is. Nature of management, like management tells about its dynamic in nature, it is pervasive. So this is all based on the various principles. That's why we say this is a management, this is a discipline of management, or what type of management characteristics are there. So principles are helpful in crystallizing the nature of management. It is helpful, these principles are also helpful in training and development of managers. A body of management principle, methods and process is necessary to train future managers. So they provide guidelines, and that's why they act like a tools by which managers can be developed. So also to influence human behavior, to improve research in the field of management, and to attain social benefits. These all are the needs that stress upon that why we should require management. Next is nature of management. It is a acts like journal statements. They are dynamic guidelines, right? Because the principal changes with change in environment in which the organization exists, right? जैसे प्रिंसिपल की एग्जांपल है कि an apple a day keeps a doctor away. What it guides us that you must eat an apple daily, but that provides us direction, that shows us some direction, but it doesn't rigid like rules. It can't be rigid. So this is one of the characteristics principle. These are based on situations. These are careful applications. These are not absolute laws like laws of gravitation, like Newton's laws or laws of physical science. They are relative. Agar, if I am saying that one of the principle of Henry Fayol is discipline, so it ensures that discipline should be maintained in the organization at every level, right? At anyhow, some level, if for the sake, like we are not follow the guidelines, like someone is not able to respond on right time, that why he or she is taking a casual leave, right? So it means somehow it may be considered as a violation of discipline or principles of the organization, because the organization demands that they must inform prior before going to leave. But in emergency cases, that can't be possible for an employee. So that can so applications of this principle should not be so harsh that it rather to motivate people, it leads to demotivate them. Okay, it's have universal application, can be applicable on various business organizations as well as social, political, religious, and other non-profit organizations. So now Henry Fayol's principles. He was a French industrialist, and through his experience, he developed several principles. That major one were 14 principles. These 14 principles were so important that he developed over a period of time, and they act like a guidelines. They act like a guiding tools for the various organizations prevailing at that time as well as right now also. So these were published in his book that is known as Administration Industrielle et Generally. That was a name in French language because he was from France, and it was published in 1917. Then it was republished again by the title Journal and Industrial Management in 1949. That is widely considered as a foundational work in classical management theory, right? So, for his contribution, he is also known as father of general management. ने father of general management भी कहा जाता है इसी contribution की वजह से. So, what are the principles? Let's have a look. These are the basic for a figure representing 14 principles of management, beginning from division of work, authority, discipline, unity of direction. Then there is a subordination of individual interest to the general interest, remunerations, centralization, scalar chain, order, equity, initiative, stability of tenure of personnel employees, and esprit de corps. We will understand one by one all of them. Next is the first one is division of work. As I earlier talked, division of work employs distribution of activities in a logical way so that each person perform his assigned work only. Like you can take the example of construction of a house. Whenever there occurs a construction of house, there are the division of this whole work is can be distributed in number of activities. Like we can assign some activities to the architect, some to the civil engineer, and some to the interior designer, right? Three people can be assigned with different activities at the first level. Then the heads of these three levels can further delegate the duties to the other members. Like civil engineer can appoint masons, can appoint carpenters, can appoint other people. So just like I got the example of assembly line, the one who fitted the assembly line of cars, one who fitted the chassis will always be fitted by one person. Then the another will fit the upper part or body cover of the car. Another will install the wheels, and another one install the doors or engines. And in that, all are in the logical sequence. So division of work ensures what it ensures a better coordination between the employees. People's efficiency increase. They can't interfere with each other. So overall objectives of the organization can be attained easily. Then is authority and responsibility. This principle of Henry Fayol emphasized that there should be a balance between authority delegated to a person and his responsibility for being liable in case of deficiency in his performance. Every individual is assigned with certain authority and responsibilities associated with it. Like there is a medical officer in your university. He is the authority, he is appointed as a medical officer. His responsibility is to take care of the faculty members, of the students, staff members, whenever they visit at his office regarding any physical or health issues. Right. Similar can be the case of like there is an authority head of the department in any industry or in any educational institution. There are certain responsibility associated with it. So this principle emphasizes if authority and responsibility are clear to each and every person or every employee, there will be no contradiction. He will perform his duty more judicially, and ultimately the objectives of the organization will be achieved in a better manner. Next is discipline. This principle emphasis requires that there must be a good superiors at all levels, and there should be a clear and fair agreements and judicial application of penalties, right? If there is no discipline in the organization, superiors are not strong. let's say example, uh, in your class, if there is no discipline, teacher comes, if teacher is not able to handle the class, what will happen? Some people, some students are of very mischievous nature. They always want naughty nature. They always try to create nuisance. But as a faculty, as a boss of that class, the faculty person, faculty or teacher should be capable enough to hold the class so that those who want to study will not get disturbance. So in the same way, we can apply this thing up to the organization level. You are appointing as a trainee engineer, right? In the organization, you have to respond to your boss, but there are certain colleagues of yours who are not behaving properly. What will happen? That will hamper the overall progress of the organization. So it requires that superior should be so capable enough they can control the people who are not performing well, and that it ensures a sense of feeling or sense that every person obeying each and other's instructions. Next is unity of command, that according to Fuel, there should be only one boss for every individual employee. Why? Because if I have more than one employee, like you are the students of computer sciences, you know that so and so is your HOD, is the concerned authority to whom you can respond for any query. Let's suppose if someone says there is another person to whom you can respond, right? That is good. But somehow you don't know that if there is no clarity about submission of assignments, submission of any task, or you are thinking that person A will give you the instruction how to do the assignment, but that person has not given, you have not started your work and you are not in a position to ask from the A or from the B. The same way, if there are more than one boss in the organization, there is a lot of confusion. If employees have a confusion in their mind to whom they respond, काम कहाँ करना है, किसके अंडर करना है, किससे बात करनी है, किससे बात नहीं करनी है, तो इस तरह से ये बहुत सी चीजें हैं जो प्रॉब्लम पैदा कर सकती हैं. तो इसके बहुत सारे बेनिफिट्स हैं यूनिटी ऑफ कमांड के. जैसे पहला बेनिफिट है, इट मेक्स अथॉरिटी रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी रिलेशनशिप क्लियर बोथ टू सुपीरियर्स एंड सबॉर्डिनेट्स. जो सुपीरियर्स और सबॉर्डिनेट्स हैं उन्हें ये पता होता है कि कौन अथॉरिटी है और किसकी क्या रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी. यू नो what is your authority, who is your HOD, who is your class in charge, who is your boss, so that you are in a position that this is my authority, he has certain responsibilities, if I have any doubt I will respond to him, or if I have to complete the task, he will be the person who will act on my behalf to take care of my needs and other things. Then order issues to subordinates are clear. अब एक ही बंदे से आपको इंस्ट्रक्शन मिल रही है, आपको पता होगा, एक ने कहा कि जाओ बेटा आप वहां जाओ, एनुअल फंक्शन हो रहा है, आपको एंट्रेंस पे खड़े होके डिग्निटरीज का वेलकम और अदर फैसिलिटीज देखती हैं. दूसरा पर्सन आया, उसने कहा नहीं, आपको किसने कहा है यहाँ गेट पे खड़े होने के लिए, आप जाइए रिफ्रेशमेंट्स देखिए. यू गेट कंफ्यूज्ड, किसकी बात माने. पहले जो जिन्होंने ऑर्डर दिया है वो सपोज आपके नॉन हैं, आप ही के टीचर हैं, दूसरे जो हैं वो कोई अननोन पर्सन है, बट यू आर कंफ्यूजन कहाँ खड़े हो. ना तो आप जो काम आपको फर्स्ट पर्सन ने दिया वो कर पाएंगे, ना ही दूसरे ने जो काम दिया वो कर पाए. द सेम इज द सिनेरियो इन द ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस. तो दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट प्रिंसिपल, एम्फसाइज यूनिटी ऑफ कमांड. इट हेल्प्स टू फिक्स रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी. तो भाई पता है कि आपको अगर कोई क्वेरी है तो आपका ये बॉस है, एक ये सिंगल बॉस है, ये आपको बताएगा और उसी की रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी बनती है. देयर आर मोर देन वन और टू बॉसेस, व्हाट विल हैपन, every time सभी ये कहेंगे I not this part is not under my consideration, you will go to other, you will go to that one, you will get to that one. So there is only one authority, one boss. He will never excuse to all to anyone, and that's why it helps to fix responsibility. Next is it eliminates frictions, clash among superiors. अब दो सुपीरियर्स हैं, दो मैनेजर्स हैं डिफरेंट डिपार्टमेंट्स के, बट हैज मैनेजर्स सेम पोजीशन पे. एक आपको कह रहा है मैंने आपको एक काम कहा था, आपने क्यों नहीं कहा. आप कह रहे हो सर मुझे मेरे ही बॉस ने दूसरा काम कहा था. तो क्लैश आ गए. आप उन्हें लग रहा है कि उन्हें आपस में लग रहा है कि ये हमारी बात काटी जा रही है. बट बिकॉज you know as a boss that person X thinking that he has a authority, another person Y thinking that he has authority over you, he or she can act like authority. But that is a confusion. If management of the organization, top management fixes the responsibility that this is the person who will guide this and that process or activity of the department, no clashes will be arises among the superiors, right? It makes relations harmonious, definitely. If there is no hampering, no confusion, no barrier, relationships will be harmonious. Fifth principle, unity of direction. This principle emphasizes that all activities of the same nature must have one head and one plan. Very good example, like there is a marketing department in the organization. Marketing department has number of activities. Number of activities like planning advertisement, training of sales staff, fixing of prices, doing survey regarding the markets, taking care of consumer complaints. All these are these are of similar nature relating to the marketing or customers. So this can be put under one head, one plan, that is marketing department's activities, and marketing head will take care of it. Right? जैसे आपकी एक्टिविटीज हैं आपके कोर्स में, असाइनमेंट बनाना, प्रोजेक्ट बनाना. अब आप सारे बीटेक स्टूडेंट्स हैं, सारे इंजीनियर्स कहलाते हैं, कॉमन टर्म, चाहे वो सीएससी है, चाहे इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स है, चाहे पीपीटी का प्रिंटिंग एंड पैकेजिंग का है. बट सीएससी की ब्रांच क्रिएट करने का मतलब यहाँ पे यही है कि जो सीएससी से रिलेटेड कोर्सेज हैं, रिलेटेड प्रोजेक्ट्स एक्टिविटीज होंगी, प्रोजेक्ट्स वर्क होंगे, असाइनमेंट्स होंगे या ट्रेनिंग्स होंगी, वो सभी को अगर मैनेज प्रॉपरली करना है तो उनको एक अंडर एक सिंगल हेड लाना पड़ेगा. तो एक स्पेशलाइजेशन बनी सीएससी, इसी तरह डिफरेंट स्पेशलाइजेशन बनी इलेक्ट्रिकल. तो इस तरह से यूनिटी ऑफ डायरेक्शन वहाँ पर फॉलो हो रहे हैं. तो यूनिटी ऑफ डायरेक्शन है तो क्या इससे होगा कि it ensures smooth functioning of various activities of the organization. It reduces wastage of resources. It helpful in maintaining good relations between the employees, and overall it will be able to achieve the objectives of the organization quite efficiently. Okay. Next one is subordination of individual interest to group interest. What does it mean? That employees not think that they are not think only in terms of their benefits. They think conclusively. They must willingly sacrifice their interest for the good of the organization. Like general example, like there is a one person who is handling a position of receptionist. He is on the position of receptionist. But that person has certain habits of chewing tobacco or smoking cigarette. His job demands that he should avoid these things. But that person, if thinking only in terms of his or her requirement, he will prefer to do those activities at the work time. If he or she thinking in terms of employees organization's benefit, he will avoid that things or will take those things at the other time or at other places. That is, so how it will happen? when there is a coordination between the employees, between the boss, superior and subordinate. Another example can be like every employee during the during the festival season like Diwali, they expect some bonuses, especially central government employees in the private organizations as well as. Suppose due to any reason, organization postponed to pay the bonuses during the festival season of this year. Any reason. Because organization saying that this money we can't be able to pay you due to the pandemic, COVID-19 pandemic situation. Our resources or assets are badly affected. So we will pay you later on when the conditions will get stabilized. But some employees start protesting against it. What will happen? क्या होगा? A contagious environment will create, right? Environment of the organization get polluted with ill behavior, and it ultimately reduces the efficiency of the organization. So if it is good, if it is there is a coordination, subordination, what will happen? People will never shed off their duties. They will never say that this is not our duty, or if it occurs, it show more their more liability towards organizations and ultimately organization objectives achieved. पर ये होगा कैसे? इसको इसी से होगा कि एम्प्लॉयज से काउंसलिंग की जाए, एम्प्लॉयज को बताया जाए कि आप इस तरह ये चीज़ों को सॉल्व करें, को अंडरस्टैंड करें. Next is remuneration of employees. Remuneration links with the payment of wages, salaries, various benefits to the organization. This plan emphasize this principle कि जो remuneration है, those the payment of remuneration should be fair enough. Quantum means quantity, and method of remuneration to be paid to the worker should be fair, reasonable, satisfactory, and rewarding of the efforts. Like if there is a management is not capable enough, that they are not able to differentiate between a hard worker and an average worker or a poor worker. There is a person who is doing 8 to 10 hours in a job, contributing his 8 to 10 hours in a job. He is performing very well, and even then he is getting the same benefit, same salary with respect to others who just doing job for 6 hours, who are just doing job for the sake of formality. What will happen to that person who is committing more committed? Ultimately he will start demotivating, his behavior will also get changed. So that's why this principle emphasize that remuneration should be in such a way that it motivates the employees. It is justifiable to them. It ultimately creates in such a way that creates win-win situation for both the employee and the employer. Okay. So next is have an understanding about difference between unity of command and unity of direction. If by meaning, it means unity of command means one employee should receive an order from one superior only. Sometimes people confuse about it, that what is unity of command or that. Unity of direction means, it means one unit, one plan, right? One unit, one plan. There is a one unit, marketing department. All relating activities should be put under that plan, put under that department. Purpose. Unity of command has a purpose. It aims at ensuring compliance of orders and instructions. Whatever the order and instructions are coming in the organization, that to ensure their compliance. Unity of directions aims at better coordination between different departments, different activities. Scope. Unity of command has a scope related to the working of workmen, related to individual employees, workmen, people, employees. But unity of direction related to the entire organization. पूरी organization के साथ ये link करता है. Objectives की बात करें तो it spells out accountability. Unity of command spells out accountability. Means कौन किस चीज के लिए कितना जिम्मेवार है. Accountability means that. Unity of direction क्या करती है, ये बताती है. It spells out organizational objectives as a whole as well as departmental objectives. सभी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के लेवल पे और डिपार्टमेंटल लेवल पे जो ऑब्जेक्टिव्स का है उनको एक्सप्लोर करती है, उन पे हाईलाइट करती है कि वो किस तरह से अचीवेबल बन पाए इजीली और इफेक्टिवली. So this is the difference. Sometimes people get confused between two. That is the difference between two. We have shown a difference between these two. Next is principles centralization and decentralization. Centralization, it means that how if we saying that there is a high degree of centralization, it means there is the distribution of authority from higher to lower level is quite limited. सेंट्रलाइजेशन का मीनिंग ये है कि एक ही बंदे के पास, एक ही डिपार्टमेंट के पास सारी पावर्स है डिसीजन मेकिंग की. और डिसेंट्रलाइजेशन का मतलब है कि जो डिसीजन मेकिंग पावर्स हैं वो नंबर ऑफ पीपल में डिस्ट्रीब्यूट कर रही है. वी आर डिस्ट्रीब्यूटिंग द डिसीजन मेकिंग पावर्स फ्रॉम lower level, from a higher level to the lower level in the organization. So if there is a high decentralization, if there is a balance, it must be a balance. If there is a decentralization, what happen? Employees will be able to contribute more towards the organization. How? Because they feel a sense of belongingness. They will exercise their own thinking, and that provides a more alternatives to a particular situation. Right? With their experience, they can provide better alternatives to a particular problem. So wastage of resources can be minimized and coordination between the various departments can be established. So decentralization or degree of centralization or decentralization depends on number of factors. The first one is size of business. Business कितना बड़ा है. छोटा बिजनेस है, रिटेल शॉप है, तो आप एक बंदा खुद ही ऑनर है, खुद ही मैनेजर है. Highly decentralized. There is a big shop, big retail house like Walmart, Easy Day, yeah, more. Size is big. Decentralization. How decentralization comes there? In the form of appointing of managers. There is the store manager will be responsible for all the activities occurring in that particular store of Easy Day or more. Experience of superiors. More he experience, more he will be able to exercise his duties or responsibilities properly and have more authority to exercise. Dependability and ability of subordinates as well. Next is scalar chain. The scalar chain refers to the route which the communication flow while flowing from one level to the ultimate authority. Means there must be a system by which a communication from lower level to upper level reaches, right? Or from the highest to the lowest level reaches. This suggests that each communication going up or coming down must flow through each position in the line of authority. Like this figure represents that if Mr. F has to communicate with P or communicate with P, then he has to follow this structure. He first respond to E, then E will E's message will go to D, D to C, C to B, A to E. This represents scalar chain. But in some emergent situations, F can directly interact with P, that is forming a bridge that is known as gangplank, right? इसका इम्पोर्टेंस ये है कि अगर हर एक चैनल से होके गुजरेगा तो देन नियर बाय जो अथॉरिटी है वो बुरा नहीं मानेंगे. सपोज F से ऊपर जो बॉस है वो है E. अगर F ने सीधा D से बात कर ली तो E को लगेगा कि मेरी इंपॉर्टेंस ही नहीं है. तो इस चीज को इंश्योर करने के लिए, हार्मोनियस रिलेशनशिप्स बनाने के लिए और टाइमली, ताकि क्विकली एक बॉस दूसरे की एम्प्लॉय की बात सुन सके, ये बनाया जाता है. पर इसमें फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी करने के लिए गैंग प्लैंक इशू किया गया है, जैसे F डायरेक्टली अगर P से बात करना चाहे तो कर सकता है. तो टू इंश्योर स्मूथ फंक्शनिंग ऑफ दी और इंश्योर smooth communication between the various departments of the organization as well as between subordinates and superiors of the organization. Next one is order. Shaw remarked that there should be a place for everything and everyone. It employs two things, one material and other social. This is a principle relating to the arrangement of things and people. Means how people and if there should be a requirement of a water cooler in the organization, it should be placed at proper place. If there should be a requirement of some instruments, this should be lying on the proper place. So order follows that thing, that materials and people should not like assembly line में कार assemble कर रहे हैं, सारे tools नीचे बिखरे पड़े हैं, काम में बिजी एम्प्लॉय जैसे ही पलटता है तो उसके पैर में हैमर या कोई टूल लगने के चांसेस है, लेकिन एक ट्रे इंस्टॉल कर दी जाती है नियर टू द आर्म ऑफ द एम्प्लॉय, व्हाट विल हैपन, ही विल सिंपली पिक द टूल्स यूटिलाइज टू असेंबल द थिंग्स एंड इट मेंटेन ऑर्डर so that material and other people will be coordinated properly and no damage will happen and organizations gets more efficiency. Then is equity. This implies just fair and reasonable treatment. On the basis of there should not be any discrimination on the basis of caste, creed and color in the organization. बहुत important है, अगर ये नहीं होता तो बहुत सारे problems arises होते हैं. Then is initiative. Initiative means that employees should be capable enough to exercise their own thoughts. इससे क्या होगा, अगर मेरे को अगर पावर है कि मैं अपने विचार रख सकूं तो मैं I will generate a sense of belongingness to the organization. I will be more loyal to the organization. So initiative is also more important. It means self-action without motivation. People will start contributing towards organization achievements without telling, without instructing them. Then is aspirate decops, means union is strength. It emphasizes that both the workers and management should work together to accomplish the objective. So at every level, it also ensures spirit of loyalty and devotion, and which unites the groups of members of the groups. The next is stability of tenure, means job security must be in the organization. If job security is not there, people will not feel sense of belongingness. They will not do job by their heart, and the more wastage of resources will be there. Efficiency will also be low. So that's why ensure कि stability हो, ऐसे नहीं है किसी को कभी भी निकाल दिया जाए. So this is all about 14 principles of management. If there is any doubt, the session is open to ask question. Please ask the question. Thank you very much.